class 6. Today we will start with a new chapter, that is chapter 7, magnetism. Okay, you already know what a magnet is. You already have an idea about a magnet. What is a magnet? It's a substance that can attract other substances like iron, cobalt, nickel, etc. Okay, so we all know what a magnet is, and this property by the help of which a magnet can attract these materials, this property is known as magnetism. Okay, this property is known as magnetism. Now magnets can be of two types. Natural magnets. What are natural magnets? That means which are the magnets which are naturally occurring, which are there on earth naturally. That means we have not created them. Okay, for example, lodestone, then magnetite, like this. But long ago it was found that apart from the natural magnets, we can also make magnets from magnetic substances. Okay, so therefore when we are making the magnets out of the magnetic substances, that means the man-made magnets, they are known as artificial magnets. Artificial magnets. What is the purpose of making these artificial magnets? What is advantage? We can make the artificial magnets of different shapes and sizes as per our choice, right? Artificial magnets can be the shape of a rectangular bar. I'll just show you in the book. You have, see, the different artificial magnets in the form of this rectangular bar magnet. Can you see it's in the shape of a U shape or a horseshoe shape? So it's known as a horseshoe magnet. This in the form of a ring. So it's known as a ring magnet. So basically, therefore this is the advantage of the artificial magnets. We can give different shapes and sizes to these magnets. So this is a advantage of artificial magnets over natural magnets. Natural magnets, they are present naturally. Okay, we have not made them from any magnetic substances. But the magnets which man is making, those magnets can be given different shapes and sizes like bar magnets, horseshoe magnets, ring magnets, etc. Okay. So the different pictures are given in the book. Now, okay. Now, see, I've got a bar magnet with me. Can you see the bar magnet? So, suppose you have a magnet and you keep different types of substances in front of it. Suppose I take this pin, okay. See, I'm bringing it near the magnet. It's getting attracted to the magnet, see. This coin, see, it's also getting attracted. Can you see? But I am bringing this plastic ruler. No, it's not getting attracted. No attraction, nothing. The plastic ruler. So that means there are few substances which can be attracted by a magnet, right? Those substances which can get attracted by a magnet are known as magnetic substances. That means only the magnetic substances will be attracted by magnet. For example, the substances like made of iron, cobalt, nickel, or alloys of these, right? You have iron pins, then if you have safety pins, then say for example the coins made of steel. So iron, cobalt, nickel, all these materials, the materials made of all this are attracted by magnets, so they are known as magnetic substances. Whereas, what have we seen? The plastic ruler, it's not getting attracted by the magnet. That means those substances which are not attracted by a magnet. Okay, so if you keep a plastic ruler, a wooden chip, say a wooden toy you keep in front of a magnet, say paper, then rubber. Okay, so all these things, you have many more. So these are few examples. So all these things, these are not attracted by a magnet, so we call them non-magnetic substance. So if you bring a magnet in front of a paper, will it get attracted to the magnet? No, because it's a non-magnetic substance. Okay, so these are the magnetic substances, these are the non-magnetic substances. Okay, and how do we differentiate them? On the basis of whether they are getting attracted by a magnet or not. Okay, and what is magnetism? Magnetism is a property of a magnet by which it can attract other magnetic substances. Okay. Now let's learn about the properties of a magnet. What is the first property? Attractive property. This we have just learned, that a magnet can attract magnetic substances like iron, cobalt, nickel, or alloys made of them, right? And which substance won't be attracted by magnet? The non-magnetic substances. Now you will notice that if you have a bar magnet, we will notice at the ends of the magnet, at the ends of a bar magnet, the magnetic property is maximum. It decreases as we move towards the center. Okay, so if I just spread iron nails or iron pins or magnetic substances on a paper and I move the bar magnet over them, I will find that maximum nails or pins or the magnetic substances will cling on to the two ends, the extreme ends. Okay, that will prove that the maximum strength of the magnet is near the two ends. I'll just show you. See, I have got these pins with me. Okay, I have got the pins with me. So now, if I just move the magnet, this is a bar magnet, so if I just move the magnet over it, see, just see, can you see? The pins are getting attached near the two ends, right? So that means the strength of the magnet, the attractive property of a magnet is maximum at the two ends, decreases as we move towards the center of the bar magnet. Okay, from the ends, if we move towards the center, the strength will decrease, at the center being 0. Okay, so minimum at the center, maximum near the two ends, the magnetic property or the attractive property of magnet. Now, see the next point, directive property. If I suspend a bar magnet, you have seen the bar magnet, how it looks like. If I suspend a bar magnet with the help of a string, we will find that it will point towards in the geographical north-south in such a way that the end of the magnet which will point towards the geographical north, we call it north pole of the magnet. The end of the magnet which will point towards the geographical south, we will call it the south pole of the magnet. Okay, so if I just suspend the bar magnet using a string, if I suspend the bar magnet using a string, so it can move freely. Can you see the diagram in this page? See, suspended a bar magnet using a string. It can move freely. So how will it arrange itself? We will find that it will align itself in such a way that that end of the magnet which is pointing towards a geographical north direction is the north pole of the magnet, and that end of the magnet pointing towards the geographical south, we call it the south pole of a magnet. So we are using the term north pole, south pole. So there comes a third property, which is the poles of magnet. What do you mean by the poles of a magnet? The two extreme ends of a bar magnet, you have seen the two extreme ends of a bar magnet where the magnetic property or the magnetic strength is maximum are the two poles of a magnet. So a magnet always has two poles, north pole, south pole. Okay, north pole of the bar magnet points towards the geographical north, south pole of a bar magnet points towards the geographical south. And if I ask you in which part of the magnet is the magnetic strength maximum, at the poles or at the center? At the poles. At the two extreme ends, the regions of the bar magnet, the regions at the two extreme ends of the bar magnet where the magnetic strength is maximum. In this bar magnet, see, it is mentioned. In this bar magnet, it is mentioned. North pole, south pole. It's written over there. North pole, south pole. Okay. So, next is poles of magnet always exist in pairs. If I break the magnet, it's not that the magnet will lose one of its poles. If I break the magnet, the broken piece will have its own north pole and south pole. Okay. So, if this is a magnet, this is a north pole, this is a south pole. If I break the magnet, the broken pieces will have its own north pole and south pole. Okay, that means poles can never exist independently. We will always have north pole, south pole. If I break the magnet, the broken pieces will have its own north pole and south pole. Okay. Now, next is attraction and repulsion of the poles of magnet. Okay, so I have got this bar magnet, north pole written over here, south pole written over here. Okay, capital N stands for north pole, capital N stands for north pole, capital S stands for south pole of a magnet. You will notice again this magnet, north pole, south pole written over here. Okay, if I just place, you will notice if I bring the south pole of this magnet and the north pole of the magnet, north pole of this magnet, south pole of this magnet together, see, they are getting attracting. You will notice it if I place it in my hand or in this book. This is, see, just see, see, they are not leaving each other. Why? Because opposite poles. Now notice, I am placing north pole. I am taking north pole of this magnet also. See, it's automatically moving away. Can you see? Moving away, not coming towards it. So that means north pole or south pole repel each other. Repel means if we bring the two same pole together, they will try to move away from each other. Okay? Repulsion. But if we bring two unlike poles, that means north pole and south pole together, they will be attracted. Okay? See, when I am saying one bar magnet, say North Pole, South Pole. Okay, it's written over there. Capital N, capital S. That means North Pole, South Pole. If I keep it and I keep another bar magnet in such a way, South Pole, North Pole. That means which two poles are facing each other? North and South. They are opposite. Okay? Opposite poles or unlike poles. We call it this north-south, north-south, opposite. Or unlike poles. Okay? North, south, south, north, north, south, south, north, opposite or unlike poles. We will find that whenever we will bring two unlike poles or opposite poles together, they will attract. But whenever we will bring north, north, south, south, that means same north, north or south, south, like poles. Like poles, that means similar poles. Whenever we will try to bring them together, we will find they will try to move away from each other. Repulsion. Here, attraction. Unlike poles attract, like poles repel. Okay? Unlike poles attract each other, like poles repel each other. See, I have placed the magnet, bar magnet. Okay, if you can't see which pole is this, no problem. Just notice, I am bringing, this is a north pole. Okay, I am bringing the south pole towards it. See, getting attracted, isn't it? Now I am bringing like pole. That means this is north, I am bringing north towards it. See, it's not a ghost that it will move on its own. How is it moving then? I am not moving it. Am I moving this bar magnet? But it's moving away on its own. Can you see? Not even touching it. If I bring it close to it, it's getting attracted because south-north. But north pole, I am bringing north pole towards it. See what will it do? It will move away. Can you see it's moving away? So what have we found then? Like poles, north-north, south-south, they repel each other. Unlike poles or different poles, north-south, south-north, attract each other. Okay? So this is a bar magnet, and at the two extremities we have two poles, right? At the two poles, the magnetic strength of a magnet is maximum. Where is it minimum? At the center of a bar magnet, right? So if we move towards the poles, towards the center, magnetic strength will decrease. Okay. Now, the line, the imaginary line joining the two poles of a magnet, this one, the imaginary line joining the two poles of a magnet is known as the magnetic axis. Okay? And the imaginary line perpendicular to the length of the magnet. What is the length of the magnet? Length between the north pole and the south pole. Okay? So this imaginary perpendicular line is known as magnetic equator. Fine? This is known as magnetic equator. So these are the poles, north pole, south pole, magnetic equator, magnetic axis. Magnetic axis is the imaginary line joining the two poles of a magnet, and magnetic equator is the imaginary line perpendicular to the length of the magnet. This is the length of the magnet, so perpendicular to it, right? Now next is repulsion is the surest test for magnetism. That means, suppose given a metallic piece. I want to know whether this is a magnet or not. How will I know? If I bring another magnet, if I bring a magnet, suppose this I know that this is a magnet. This I don't know whether this is a magnet or not. I have to tell whether this is a magnet or not. How will I say? If I bring this magnet, this is a magnet which I know. If I bring this towards the substance which is in my hand, if I see that it's getting attracted to it, what can it be? We can surely tell that this is a magnet. Or no, we cannot, because what if we have this pin with me, then also if I bring it closer, see, if I bring it closer, it's getting attracted to it. But this is not a magnet, right? But if I notice that on bringing the known piece of magnet towards it, if I can find that it's getting repulsed, see, it's moving away, then we can say that that means the piece of thing in my hand is a magnet. Otherwise, it would not have been showing repulsion. Only two poles of magnet, two similar poles of magnet can show repulsion. A magnetic substance and a magnet can not show repulsion. They can only show attraction. So basically, a magnet can attract magnetic substances as well as a opposite pole also. Suppose if I have a north pole of a magnet and if I keep some iron pins or nails in front of it, it can attract it, as well as if I keep another magnet of opposite pole, then also it can attract. So we won't be able to know whether, suppose this is an unknown, I have been asked whether this is magnet or not. How will I know? It is getting attracted. If I keep, even if it's not a magnet, it's a magnetic substance, then also it will be attracted. But only if it's a magnet, then only it can show repulsion. A magnetic substance cannot show repulsion with a magnet. Only a magnet only can show repulsion with another magnet. When can it show repulsion? When two similar poles are facing each other. So we say repulsion is a surest test of magnetism, or knowing whether the substance is magnet or not.